If you're thinking about buying the WD Blue SN5000 SSD because you want rock-solid performance and huge storage, hold up for just a second because there's something you need to know. This drive promises up to 4 TB capacity and blazing PCIe Gen 4 speeds, with claims of up to 5500 MBs read speeds. But here's what surprised me. Beneath the shiny specs, this drive has several critical drawbacks that might cost you more than just money. What seemed like a dream SSD for creators and power users becomes a questionable choice once you dig into real-world use. But wait, before you rush to buy, let me take you through the nitty-gritty. By the end, you'll know exactly if the WD Blue SN5000 is a wise buy or a flashy disappointment. You might wonder, isn't having 4 TB and PCIe Gen 4 speeds enough reason to grab this new WD Blue? That's what marketing wants you to think, but in practice, things aren't always this simple. So, if you're a creative professional juggling massive files or a multitasker who needs seamless app switching, this review will save your workflow from potential headaches. Stay tuned, because I'll expose the issues that Amazon reviews won't mention, along with the unique tech WD is packing into this SSD. Curious about the endurance and actual performance? I'll dive deep so that you're informed before clicking Add to Cart. Ready? Let's go deeper. Now let's talk about what WD prides itself on with this SN5000. The biggest selling points are the PCIe Gen 4 interface and Western Digital's Encache 4.0 technology. The PCIe Gen 4 offers theoretical transfer speeds that double what Gen 3 could do, up to 5500 MBs on the 4 TB model, which is seriously fast and great for pro multitasking and demanding creative workflows. Encache 4.0, on the other hand, is designed to boost write speeds and sustain performance by intelligently managing the NAND flash and DRAM buffer. Together, this combo should make this SSD a powerhouse. Right. Well, here's the twist. In some real use cases, the performance isn't consistently hitting those peak speeds. That means if you're editing 4K video or loading huge Photoshop files, your workflow might hiccup when you least expect it. Speaking of hiccups, the endurance rating WD gives here is a pretty impressive 1200 TBW for the 4 TB version, meaning you can write terabytes of data without the drive giving up. Sounds bulletproof for ideating, drafting, and finalizing those creative projects, doesn't it? However, user experiences reveal a mixed bag. Some folks have reported overheating issues during extended heavy use, which can throttle speeds and degrade long-term reliability. It's like having a sports car that slows down after a few laps, frustrating when you're in the zone. So the big question becomes, does WD have you covered for those marathon brainstorming or rendering sessions, or will this drive force you to take frustrating breaks? Just to paint a clearer picture, the WD Blue SN5000 is specifically targeted at creators and professionals who need dependable high-speed storage. Whether you're a graphic designer with mountains of photos or a video editor dealing with gigabyte-heavy footages, this drive claims to deliver a smooth experience. It's backed by a 5-year limited warranty and comes bundled with Western Digital's dashboard software, which is meant to help you monitor your SSD's health and available space. Plus, free access to Acronis True Image software makes data migration painless. If all these features sound like a dream come true, you're not alone. Many users were initially excited about the specs and extras. But here's where the story takes a turn. The devil's in the details. While the WD Blue SN5000 shines in synthetic benchmarks, real-world users have found that the drive can struggle under sustained load, something you can't ignore if you're working on projects that don't pause. Plus, I came across some reports of driver compatibility and firmware update issues, which feel like wrinkles on an otherwise smooth canvas. Imagine shelling out $182 for a drive only to deal with mysterious slowdowns or compatibility bugs a few weeks into your project timeline. Not a fun surprise to say the least. Now let's lighten the mood with a quick joke before we crunch more numbers. Why don't SSDs ever gossip? Because they like to keep things under the cache. Bah dum TSS. Okay, technical humor aside, understanding how Western Digital's Ncache 4.0 functions is vital here. This cache acts as a speedy buffer to absorb write bursts and smooth out slower NAND flash operations. In theory, this means faster file transfers and reduced bottlenecks when multitasking. But if the cache gets overwhelmed or poorly optimized for your particular workload, you'll see those middling dips in sustained performance I talked about. Another important factor to consider is price versus value. At $182.74 for the 4TB model, this WD Blue SN5000 is not exactly budget-friendly. You're paying a premium for what should be top-tier NVMe Gen 4 tech. But when you look at competitors like Samsung's 980 Pro or Sabrent Rocket 4 Plus, you find similar or even better real-world performance with better thermal controls and more consistent endurance ratings. So, is the WD Blue SN5000 punching above its weight? Or is it a flashy contender that falls short when the real race gets tough? That's exactly the debate I want to settle in this review. Now, if you're the kind of person who easily loses track of storage drives after purchase, don't worry, you're not alone. I once bought an external SSD and forgot where I put it so well, even Sherlock would have given up. So here's a neat feature with the WD Blue SN5000, the Western Digital Dashboard app. It lets you track drive health, temperature, and free space so you're always in the loop. This is actually quite useful because it helps prevent sudden failures and keeps you updated on when it might be time to replace your drive. Kind of like digital street smarts for your SSD. But I know this sounds like a broken record by now. If you really want an SSD that will perform flawlessly throughout your intense creative processes, you need to weigh carefully. The WD Blue SN5000's marketing hype leans heavily on capacity and speed specs that look great on paper. However, some real users caution that the warranty, while solid, might not fully cover all glitches caused due to overheating or firmware lag. Imagine having your creatively crushing deadlines blown because your SSD decided to take a nap unexpectedly. That's like ordering a pizza and finding out the delivery guy ate half of it. Just not cool. Here's another quick joke because tech reviews can't always be dry. Why did the SSD break up with the HDD? It found the relationship too slow and needed more space. Cue groans. But seriously, the WD Blue SN5000 is a traditional internal NVMe SSD. So if you're coming from an older SATA SSD or HDD, you'll notice a huge jump in speed. Boot times, file transfers, and software launches all feel snappier, sometimes borderline magical. But if you want consistent all-day performance under heavy workloads, this might sometimes fall short. Let's not forget endurance. The 1200 TBW rating on the 4TB model means theoretically you can write roughly 1.2 petabytes of data before the drive's reliability declines. Translating that into everyday terms, if you write 100 GB daily, it'll last over 30 years. That's plenty for even the most demanding users. However, endurance can be impacted by heat and usage patterns, which is why proper cooling and firmware updates matter hugely. Just like any athlete, the SSD needs good conditions to perform at its peak. So, after peeling back the layers, what's the final verdict on the WD Blue SN5000? Is it a no-go or a buy? The truth is, this SSD is a solid choice for creatives who want large capacity and decent Gen 4 speeds, but don't expect it to be flawless. It's a bit like hiring a talented but sometimes moody artist. You get great bursts of creativity mixed with occasional slowdowns. Its value shines for users with moderate to heavy workflows who want a future-proof storage without breaking the bank. If you want the best out there with guaranteed consistent performance and premium build, you might want to look at other top-tier options. But for everyday creators who balance price and power, it's a worthy contender. One last joke before we wrap up, because why not? Why did the SSD go to therapy? It had too many issues. All right, I'll stop now. In summary, if you're after an NVMe SSD with big storage, PCIe Gen 4, and decent endurance at a mid-range price, the WD Blue SN5000 delivers in many ways. But keep an eye on workload demands and thermal management to avoid frustration. Don't forget to download the WD Dashboard app for easy drive monitoring, and grab the free Acronis True Image tool for simple migration. Remember, the best price and official warranty support are only available through Amazon, so check the link in the description below for current deals. Whether you decide to grab the WD Blue SN5000 or explore alternatives, being informed is your best weapon against tech headaches. Thanks for watching, and may your workflow always be speedy and glitch-free.